Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a huge problem in the business world. Why so many companies are just throwing money at AI and getting, well, pretty much nothing back. We're going to look at why they're getting it wrong and, more importantly, how your organization can actually get it right.
All right, let's dive right in with a number that should honestly make every single executive just stop in their tracks. It's estimated that a whopping 95% of generative AI projects fail to deliver any real return on investment after that initial pilot phase. I mean, that's just an insane failure rate for a technology that's supposed to be changing everything, right?
And if you thought that was wild, get this. Even with everyone and their brother jumping on the AI bandwagon and a market that's heading towards, $1.7 trillion, only a measly 1% of organizations are considered truly mature with their AI. And what's mature mean? It means AI is actually baked into what they do, it's governed properly, and it's driving real business results. So, this gigantic gap, this chasm between all the money being spent and the tiny amount of success, we call that the AI maturity paradox. Companies are throwing cash at the problem, but they're not actually getting any smarter about how they use AI. And listen, this is absolutely crucial. This is not a technology problem. The AI models, they work. This is 100% a strategy problem. And a huge piece of that strategy puzzle is what's called the overconfidence trap. You've got a lot of leaders who think they get AI, but they're still using this old-school industrial-era playbook for a brand-new cognitive-era game. It's kind of like trying to manage a Tesla using the instruction manual for a steam engine. It just doesn't work. So this gets to the heart of it. That old playbook, you know, the one where the first move is always, let's cut headcount to save cash? Well, when it comes to AI, that playbook is just fundamentally, strategically broken. When you just chase those cost cuts, you set yourself up for this really dangerous double whammy. First, you get rid of the junior roles. But those are the exact places where your future experts learn the ropes of your business. And then, at the exact same time, you create this massive, urgent need for super experienced and, super expensive senior people who can actually manage these new complex AI systems. You're basically chopping off your future talent pipeline at the knees.
And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. The whole Zillow offer saga, what a cautionary tale. They went all in, relying completely on an AI pricing algorithm with pretty much no human oversight. And what happened? The algorithm went haywire, they massively overpaid for thousands of homes, lost a ton of money, and the real irony here, they still had to lay off 25% of their people anyway.
Okay, another huge fundamental mistake we see all the time is people mixing up simple automation with true AI. Managers do it constantly, and it's a super costly mistake because we're talking about two totally different tools here. They need completely different game plans. So, what's the core difference? Let's break it down. Automation is deterministic. Think of a calculator. It just follows rigid rules. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4, every single time. AI, though, that's probabilistic. It's all about playing the odds, making educated guesses. It's built to handle ambiguity, and that variation, that's not a bug, that's the whole point. It's a feature.
Okay, this slide is actually super helpful because it gives managers a really simple, practical way to think about this. You don't need to be some data science wizard, you just have to ask 3 basic questions. 1, do I need a 100% perfect result every single time, like when you're running payroll? 2, is the information I'm working with messy, like a bunch of customer emails? And 3, what's the real cost if this thing messes up? Answer those, and you'll know which tool is right for the job.
All right, let's talk about the next big pitfall. This is that classic strategy of just, hey, let's give an AI license to everybody, and we're going to see how that can turn into a huge financial trap. Some folks are calling this the co-pilot conundrum. The logic seems simple enough, right? Give everyone an AI assistant and poof, productivity. But here's the catch. At, say, $30 a pop per month, your costs scale up perfectly, 1-to-1 with your employees. But your productivity gains? Oh no, they do not scale the same way. You end up paying for this super powerful tool for tons of people whose jobs don't actually get a real boost from it. And you don't have to take my word for it. The data here is, well, it's crystal clear. These broad, give-it-to-everyone rollouts, they produce a pretty sad average ROI of just under 6%. But check this out.
When you do targeted, role-specific deployments, like giving it to your legal team to draft contracts, the returns can be 3.7 times your investment. The difference isn't just big, it's astronomical.
So, if that old playbook of just cutting costs and handing out licenses to everyone is broken, what's the right way forward? Well, it really all starts by completely rethinking how you measure success. You got to start measuring the things that actually matter. And that means we need a shift in our mindset. We need to move from just thinking about return on investment, ROI, to something called return on efficiency, or ROE. And the difference is subtle, but absolutely crucial. ROE doesn't just ask, hey, how much time did we save? It asks the more important question, okay, what did we do with all that time we saved? Because that's where you unlock the real game-changing value.
So, a modern AI playbook uses a really smart 3-tiered system to measure this value. Think of it like a journey. You start with the simple basics, and you move all the way up to proving real strategic business impact.
So these first 2 tiers are all about getting the fundamentals right. Tier 1 is super basic. Are people even using the thing? You just look at your active users. Then Tier 2 asks, okay, is it making a difference? And here you start measuring concrete stuff. How many hours are we saving? Are workflows getting done faster? Are your people happier and less frustrated? That's a huge win. And this brings us to the final and most crucial step. Tier 3 is where the magic happens. This is where you connect all that time you saved directly to the big picture business outcomes that your C-suite actually cares about. For the sales team, it's not about we sent emails faster. No, it's about our sales cycles are shorter and our deal sizes are bigger. This is how you prove that AI is actually moving the needle for the entire business. So ultimately, it all comes down to one question that every single leader needs to be asking themselves. Is our AI strategy just a knee-jerk reaction, just jumping on the bandwagon so we don't miss out? Or is it a deliberate, thoughtful plan designed to actually command the future? Because by avoiding these traps and adopting this new, smarter playbook, you can make sure your AI investment isn't part of that scary 95% failure statistic. Instead, it can be a real engine for driving sustainable, meaningful value.